platanito, aguacate. So they say, I sell plantain, avocado, so the palenqueras. That these are these women that are from Palenque that are literally like brought from Africa, okay? And they sell their products in these huge bowls made out of metal, aluminum, or I think it's steel, I'm not sure. And they put it in their heads and they are still street vendors. And they sell the products, they announce the products. I grew up with that. And I grew up with that in a very interesting moment culturally, especially in regards of African development.
I loved how you mentioned how, like, so many different things about Colombia. I mean, it's making me even more excited now to eventually go there. But I wanted to talk about specifically what you were saying about the area that you grew up in Cartagena, and that being on the Caribbean side, but also thinking about like different regions of Colombia, like even the Pacific side. And I know like there was a lot of Afro-Colombians that also reside in those areas as well. And I'm very curious because you mentioned the Palenque, that area as well, more so closer to Cartagena. But thinking about that term, and maybe can you explain to us a little bit more of the history of Palenques and the connection of that to maybe cimarrones as well?
Sí. Okay, so basically what happened is that when the enslaved people were brought to Colombia, and obviously some people say, oh my God, I cannot handle this. Okay, this is not for me. I wasn't born to be a slave from anybody. I'm a free person. So a lot of those guys run away. So those are the cimarrones. Okay, these were enslaved, especially men and women that decided to rebel against this system. Okay, and they run away. So they built these villages that are called palenques. The only one that survives nowadays is around 60, 70 kilometers from Cartagena, and it's called San Basilio de Palenque. These are considered the first free states in America, really free states in America. And because they were a mix of all the people that came from Africa. Remember, it wasn't just from one country or one tribe. They were mixed. The same thing that happened here in the States. So a lot of them mixed and actually took a little bit of of each of their culture, and they were able to keep the roots of where they were coming from because they built their own community. So they have their own language, which is a mix of Spanish, English, Patois, which is a type of French. Okay. And so, and they still speak it. Actually, San Basilio de Palenque is considered immaterial. I think it's a word like a patrimony of Colombia. It's a cultural immaterial patrimony of Colombia. Cartagena was declared universal patrimony of humankind. Palenque is immaterial. I think is the word. I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but basically means that the culture of Palenque is patrimony of Colombia. Okay, so because it's so much rich culture and it's so well preserved that you don't want that to go to waste. You want the next generation to know where you're coming from, and that's what Palenque is nowadays.